The noose tightened around my neck, and in that final, choking gasp, I saw my mother's face, not twisted in grief, but smirking from the courtroom gallery, her perfectly manicured hand clutching the pearls I'd bought her for Mother's Day. I'd trusted her with everything, my secrets, my savings, my goddamn soul. And she'd sold me out for a slice of the family fortune, framing me for embezzlement to keep her golden child, my sister, untouched by scandal. But death wasn't the end. It was a reset button, slamming me back into my body 5 years earlier, heart pounding in the chest of the naive Isla Hayes who still believed blood was thicker than the lies they'd weave around her. I woke up gasping in my old queen-sized bed, the one with the faded floral duvet from Target that I'd splurged on after landing that junior accountant gig at Sterling Financial. The alarm clock blinked 7:15 a.m. June 15th, 2020, exactly 5 years before the trial that would end me. My hands flew to my throat, feeling nothing but smooth skin, no rope burns, no phantom ache. The room smelled like stale coffee and lavender from the diffuser my then-boyfriend, Jake, had gifted me.
Jake.
The same Jake who'd testify against me in my second life, whispering sweet nothings to my sister behind my back. Holy shit, I muttered, bolting upright. The mirror across the room showed my 28-year-old face, wide hazel eyes, freckles across the nose. That stupid asymmetrical bob haircut I thought made me look edgy.
But now,
those eyes burned with the fire of someone who'd danced with the devil and come back swinging. I wasn't that Isla anymore, the one who'd clawed her way up from a trailer park in rural Ohio to a cramped apartment in downtown Chicago, only to have it all ripped away by the people I loved most. My phone buzzed on the nightstand, and I snatched it up, heart slamming like a bass drum. A text from Mom, "Don't come to the wedding. You and your kids make everything awkward."
kids?
I didn't have kids yet. This was before Jake proposed, before the IVF struggles that would leave me with 2 beautiful but inconvenient stepdaughters in the eyes of my family. No, this text was a glitch, a bleed-through from the future. Or maybe the universe's cruel joke to kickstart my revenge tour. I laughed, a sharp, bitter sound that echoed off the walls.
Kids.
In this timeline, I was childless, unscarred, and unbreakable. But I remembered the sting of that message arriving on the eve of my sister's lavish nuptials. How it gutted me, how I'd still shown up anyway, only to be the punchline of their whispered jokes. Not this time. This time, I'd make them choke on their own venom. I threw on my running gear, leggings, and a tank top that hugged my post-breakup curves, and hit the streets of Wrigleyville. The summer air thick with the scent of hot dogs from the corner vendor and exhaust from the L train rumbling overhead. Chicago was alive, oblivious to the ghost walking its sidewalks. As I pounded pavement, memories flooded back, the boardroom where I'd uncovered the discrepancies in Sterling's books, not knowing my own mother had engineered them to shield my father's gambling debts. The night Jake confessed his affair with Lila, my baby sister, the golden girl with her Ivy League degree and trust fund glow. The courtroom, where the jury foreman's voice sealed my fate, 20 years for fraud I never committed. But knowledge was my weapon now. I knew every dirty secret, every weak link in their facade. Mom's affair with the family lawyer, Dad's underground poker ring, Lila's coke habit hidden behind her influencer smile, and Jake, oh, sweet Jake, his offshore accounts siphoning company funds for their love nest in Miami. By the time I looped back to my building, sweat-slicked and buzzing with adrenaline, I had a plan. Step 1. document everything. In my first life, I'd been too trusting, too eager to please. This time, I'd build a case against them before they could blink. I showered, the hot water scalding away the last remnants of that old fear, and fired up my laptop. Emails from 5 years hence danced in my mind's eye, incriminating threads I deleted in a haze of denial. I started a hidden folder, Operation Reckoning. First entry, a spreadsheet mirroring the one I'd found too late, projecting the embezzlement trail back to its source. My phone rang, Mom. Of course. The glitched text had been a harbinger. Isla.
Honey?
You there?
Yeah. Mom.
Loud and clear. My voice was steady, laced with the honeyed venom I'd practiced in solitary. She launched into her usual spiel, Lila's wedding in 2 months at the Drake Hotel. All white orchids and string quartets. A far cry from my elopement courthouse disaster with Jake. We're keeping it intimate. You know? Family only. But we'd love for you to send a gift, something tasteful. Intimate.
Code for not you.
I bit back the urge to scream. I know what you did. You two-faced bitch. Instead, sounds perfect. I'll handle the registry, maybe some monogrammed cocktail napkins for toasting betrayals. A pause. What did you say? Nothing.
Mom.
Just excited. I hung up, my hands shaking not from fear, but fury. This was the game now. I'd play the dutiful daughter, the supportive sister, all while tightening the noose around their necks. Work that day was a minefield of nostalgia. Sterling Financial's lobby gleamed under fluorescent lights. The same marble floors where I'd once tripped in heels, spilling coffee on the CEO's loafers.
Now.
I strode in like I owned the place, flashing my badge at security with a smile that didn't reach my eyes. My cubicle hadn't changed, stacks of manila folders, a wilting ficus, and a framed photo of Jake and me at the bean, his arms slung possessively around my waist. I smashed the frame against the desk, glass shattering like my illusions. Colleagues glanced over, but I waved it off. Clumsy me. By lunch, I was buried in audits, cross-referencing ledgers with the precision of a surgeon. The discrepancies were embryonic here, tiny fudges in expense reports, all funneled through Dad's construction firm, Hayes Builds. Mom had always played the innocent homemaker, but she'd been the bookkeeper, cooking the numbers to cover his losses. I forwarded a flagged report to my boss, Helen, with a note, potential irregularity, worth a deeper dive? In my first life, I'd ignored the flags to protect family. This time, I'd light the fuse. Jake texted as I scarfed a turkey wrap in the break room. Miss you already. Dinner tonight? Heart emoji.
God.
He was predictable. The man who'd sworn eternal love while plotting to trade up for Lila's pedigree.
Can't.
Late audit. Lie number 1.
Tonight.
I'd tail him. Confirm the affair's timeline. It started innocently enough, a business drink after Lila's fashion launch party. I'd walked in on them months later, lipstick on his collar, her laughter like knives. The afternoon blurred into keystrokes and coffee refills. By 5, Helen pulled me into her office, her Botox-smooth forehead creasing. Isla. This Hayes Builds vendor, any relation? I met her gaze. Unflinching. My father's company. Why? She slid a printout across the desk. Irregular payments. If it's nothing.
Great.
But if it's something, we have to report it. In the old timeline, I'd vouched for them, buried the evidence. Now, report it. Clean books or bust. Her eyes narrowed, appraising. You're different today. Fired up. You have no idea. Driving home through rush hour snarl. The Chicago skyline a jagged silhouette against the sunset. I felt the weight of second chances. This wasn't just revenge, it was reclamation. I'd lost everything once, freedom.
Dignity.
The kids I'd come to love as my own after Jake's custody battle turned ugly. Twins, Mia and Zoe, with their gap-toothed grins and endless questions. In that life, Mom had poisoned them against me during visits, calling me the family wrecker. No more. I parked in my spot, the engine ticking cool, and pulled out a burner phone I'd picked up on my lunch break, cash. No trace. First call, a PI I'd used post-conviction in my mind's archive. Yeah, it's Isla. I need dirt on the Hayes family. All of it. The voice on the other end chuckled. Hayes, as in Senator Hayes' in-laws? That's gonna cost you. Triple your rate. Start with the wife. As dusk fell, painting my apartment in bruised purples, I poured a glass of cheap Merlot and toasted the mirror. To the dead woman walking, the wine was tart, like the truth I'd swallow whole. But sleep evaded me that night. Dreams twisted the past and present, Mom's smirk morphing into Lila's wedding veil, Jake's hands around my throat instead of hers. I jolted awake at 3 a.m., sweat-soaked, the burner buzzing. PI's text, initial hit, Evelyn Hayes, Mom, spotted at Gold Coast Casino. Midnight runs. Poker comps under alias. Digging deeper. A grin split my face. Jackpot. Evelyn, the pearl-clutching pillar of PDA meetings, was Dad's enabler and partner in crime. I'd expose her first, quietly.
Surgically.
Dawn broke with a vengeance, and I dressed for war. Pencil skirt, blouse buttoned to the throat, heels that clicked like countdowns. At Sterling, the audit escalated. Helen called a meeting with compliance, and there it was, my name on the escalation email. In the old life, this was where panic set in.
Now.
I volunteered to lead the investigation. You're sure? Helen asked, leaning back in her leather chair. Positive. Family or not, fraud's fraud. Word spread fast. By noon, my dad called, voice booming through the speaker. Isla. What the hell? Some bullshit about our invoices. I cradled the phone, casual as sin. Just doing my job.
Dad.
You understand. A growl. Don't you dare drag your mother's name into this. Too late, I thought. Wouldn't dream of it. The line went dead, and I exhaled. The first real breath since rebirth. This was the thrill, the slow unraveling. But revenge wasn't a sprint, it was a marathon of mind games. Lunch was a solo affair at a corner deli. Turkey on rye with extra mustard. Eavesdropping on yuppies griping about student loans. Normalcy. How I'd craved it in prison. Trading commissary smokes for stories of the outside world.
Now.
It was mine to weaponize. Afternoon brought the first crack, an anonymous tip to HR, Jake's extended lunches with a certain intern. Not Lila yet, that came later. But planting seeds. Home by 7.
Iku pasta al dente.
With garlic and olive oil. The way Jake hated. Fuck him. Midway through, the doorbell buzzed.
Mom.
Unannounced. In her Chanel knockoff and pearls, arms laden with Tupperware. Isla Bear. She air-kissed my cheeks, breezing past like she owned the place. Heard about the audit nonsense. Your father's in a tizzy. I forced a smile, plating the food. Wine. She waved it off. On my cleanse. So, the wedding, Lila's insisting on including you. Says it's bad luck otherwise. Liar. In the future, Lila had barred me at the door. But this was her probing, testing waters. I sipped, eyes locked on hers. Tell her thanks. But if I'm there, I bring dates, the twins. Her face tightened, just a flicker. Twins? You and Jake aren't even.
Surrogate, I lied smoothly.
Due next spring.
Surprise.
She recovered with a laugh, brittle as autumn leaves. Well, isn't that convenient? We ate in strained silence, her fork scraping porcelain. Then, the hook, you know.
Mom.
I've been thinking about family investments. Dad's firm. Anything I should know before the big audit? Her eyes darted.
What? No.
Darling. All above board. I nodded, filing the micro-tremor in her voice.
Gotcha.
She left with hugs and empty promises, and I collapsed on the couch, the burner lighting up again. P.I. Evelyn's casino alias, Lady Luck. Winds tied to your dad's losses. Photos attached. Grainy shots, Mom at a blackjack table. Chips piled high. Dad in the shadows. Blackmail gold. Night fell heavy. City lights twinkling like distant stars. I texted Jake back. Dinner tomorrow. Your place. Bait set. Sleep came fitful, haunted by what-ifs. What if I failed? What if mercy crept in?
No.
They'd buried me alive once. This time, I'd rise and bury them. Week 2 dawned with rain lashing the windows. Chicago's summer storms turning streets to rivers. I called in sick, first lie of many, and drove to the suburbs, to the Hayes family manse in Oak Park, Victorian gingerbread, white picket fence, the American dream rotting from within. Parked down the block, binoculars in hand, I watched. Dad's truck pulled in at 9. Mud spattered from a sight. Mom's Prius followed, dry cleaning bags swinging. Lila's convertible screeched up at 10, her laughing with Jake in the passenger seat. My stomach twisted. There they were, the trifecta of treachery, spilling out onto the lawn like a bad sitcom. Jake's hand on her lower back. Proprietary. Lila's head thrown back in that practiced giggle. I snapped photos. Time-stamped. Fuel for the fire. Then, the real reconnaissance, slipping through the backyard gate, childhood muscle memory, and into the garden shed. Dad's man cave of tools and secrets. Jackpot. A lockbox under the workbench. Combination his birthday. 0612. Inside, ledgers.
Damning.
Payments to offshore shells. Initialed EH for Evelyn Hayes. Heart racing. I photographed every page, then resealed it. Out like a shadow. Rain masking my footsteps. Back in the city, I uploaded to my cloud vault. Encrypted triple fold. Next, confrontation light. I drove to Jake's loft in Lincoln Park, the one he'd bought with my savings in the old timeline. He answered shirtless, towel around his neck, post-gym glow. Babe, you're early. I pushed past, dropping my bag. We need to talk. His face shifted, charm to caution. What's up? I paced the exposed brick space. Minimalist chic with my old IKEA rug as a gift. The future.
Us.
Lila. He laughed.
Too quick.
Lila? Your sister? Come on. I pulled out my phone, flashing a mock text. Hypothetical. What if I knew?
About the drinks.
The touches. The lies. His eyes widened, then narrowed. You're paranoid. Stress from work. Classic gaslight. In the past.
Ide krumblat.
Now, test me.
Jake.
Invite her over. See what happens. He stepped close. Hands on my arms. Isla. I love you. Always have. I twisted free. Voice ice. Prove it. Break ties. Or we're done. The door slammed behind me before he could respond.
Power.
Intoxicating. At Sterling. The audit hit fever pitch. Compliance called Dad in. He stormed out red-faced. Tires squealing. Mom's voicemails piled up. Call me. This is family. I deleted them. Focusing on the next thread. Lila's secrets. Her empire, a lifestyle blog masking dropship scams and sponsored lies. In prison, I'd seen the subpoenas too late.
Now.
I'd tip off the FTC anonymously. Burner call to a reporter contact from my future network. Heard of Lux Life by Lila? Dig into the affiliate fraud. By Friday, Jake showed up at my door. Flowers in hand, eyes pleading. I ended it. Whatever it was. Marry me.
Isla.
Let's start fresh. The ring box trembled in his palm, a solitaire that screamed compromise. In the old life, I'd said yes, blind to the poison. Now, I took the box, slipped the ring on, and smiled. Yes. But first, family dinner. All of us. His relief was palpable. Naive. Hook. Line. Sinker. The weekend blurred into wedding prep sabotage. I volunteered for the bachelorette Vegas trip. My treat.
En route.
I spiked the cocktails with just enough truth serum, over-the-counter laxatives, petty but poetic, to loosen tongues. Lila confessed her side hustle to the bridesmaids, recorded on my hidden mic. Back home, the noose tightened. Dad's firm faced IRS scrutiny. Mom's casino tabs surfaced in a leak I orchestrated. Jake proposed publicly at a Cubs game. Jumbotron kiss sealing his fate. He'd never suspect the prenup I'd draft. Ironclad. But crack showed. Mom cornered me at brunch. Eyes puffy. What's happening to us?
Isla?
This audit, it's killing your father. I buttered my scone. Serene. Karma.
Mom.
For all the skeletons. Her fork clattered. What do you know? Everything. I leaned in. The ledgers. The lies. The frame job you're planning for me. She blanched, whispering, You're crazy. Am I? I slid a printout across, her casino photo. Try me. She fled, and I savored the victory, bitter as black coffee. Mid-July heat wave baked the city, tempers fraying like old asphalt. Lila's wedding loomed, invitations gold embossed, RSVPs trickling in. Mine? A polite decline. With a gift, a custom cake topper, 2 figures entwined. Nooses for veils. Jake moved in, his boxes cluttering my space, his touches tentative. Nights. He'd murmur promises while I plotted. The prenup included clauses for infidelity, total asset forfeiture. I'd make him sign blind. At work, the hammer fell. Sterling's board suspended payments to Hayes Build's pending investigation. Dad called. Voice broken. Help us. Kiddo. For old times. Old times, I echoed. Like when you let Mom blame me for your debts? Silence. Then, how? Doesn't matter. Fix it yourself. The PI delivered the motherlode, tapes of Mom, and the lawyer plotting my downfall. Dated from this timeline, preemptive. Chilling. She'd start whispering to Jake soon. Planting embezzlement seeds. I countered with my own whispers. To Jake's boss. About creative accounting. To Lila's sponsors. About her faked endorsements. August arrived with thunder, mirroring the storm inside. Wedding week, rehearsal dinner at the Drake. Chandeliers dripping opulence. I arrived fashionably late, Jake's arm linked in mine, the ring glinting like a warning. Mom hovered, smile plastic. Dad avoided my eyes. Lila, radiant in silk, air-kissed me.
Sis.
So glad you made it. The toast round began. Jake's was saccharine. To family, unbreakable bonds. I rose. Glass raised. Voice carrying. To bonds that bind too tight. May they snap before they strangle. Murmurs rippled. Mom's face drained of color. Dinner devolved into small talk laced with landmines. Lila gushed about her honeymoon Maldives, courtesy of Dad's bonus. I probed, generous. Any strings? She waved it off. Jake squeezed my hand under the table. A silent behave. Post-dinner. In the powder room.
Mom cornered me. Stop this.
Whatever you're doing. I powdered my nose. Casual. Or what? Frame me again. Her hand shot out, gripping my wrist. You think you're clever? We built this family. You destroy it for spite.
No. Mom.
For justice. I twisted free, leaving bruises blooming on her skin, evidence, if needed. The wedding day dawned crisp. September sun gilding the hotel's grand ballroom. I walked in with Jake. The twins' absence a ghost, my fabricated pregnancy a shield, ultrasound proof, emailed to the family group chat. Lila floated down the aisle in ivory lace, veil trailing like a shroud. Vows exchanged. Rings slipped on, ironic, given Jake's impending doom. Reception buzzed. Open bar. Jazz quartet. Guests in linen suits. I cornered Dad by the dessert table. Sign the plea. Cooperate with the feds. Or the ledgers go public. He wheezed, scotch in hand. You're my daughter. Was I? When you let them bury me. His eyes welled, crocodile tears. I didn't know it'd go that far. Liar. I walked away. The quartet striking up at last. High point. The father-daughter dance. Dad and Lila swaying, her head on his shoulder. I imagine the cuffs clicking soon. Then, the crash. Jake pulled me aside, face ashen. Isla, what the fuck? My firm's freezing my accounts. Something about audits. I feigned shock. Coincidence. His grip tightened. You did this. Self-preservation. Baby. I slipped the ring off, dropping it into his palm. We're done. Screams erupted, Lila, phone in hand, wailing about canceled sponsorships. Mom stormed over, face a mask of fury. You bitch. This is your doing. Guests gawked. Phones out. I stood tall, voice projecting.
No.
Evelyn. It's yours. The casinos. The fraud. The plot to frame your own daughter.
Gasps.
Dad slumped into a chair. Jake lunged, but security, my anonymous call, hauled him back. Cops arrived minutes later, tipped by my final burner text. Handcuffs for all three. Mom for forgery. Dad for conspiracy. Lila for wire fraud. Jake for accessory. As they were let out, Lila spat. You'll rot for this. I smiled, the old Noose's echo in my throat. Already did. The ballroom emptied in chaos. But I lingered, champagne flute in hand. Twist, the feds had bigger fish. Senator Hayes, Lila's groom, implicated in the web. Wedding annulled. Family empire crumbled. Months later, trials wrapped, pleas bargained, sentences light, but reputation shredded. I walked free, no. Better, promoted at Sterling. A new apartment overlooking the lake. Therapy unpacking the scars. The kids, in this life. I adopted early twins from foster care.
Mia and Zoe.
Their laughter filling the void. Mom's last letter from county lockup. Forgive me. Burned it. Reborn. I wasn't vengeful ghost. I was Isla Hayes, architect of my fate. And in the quiet nights, when Chicago whispered below, I slept sound, Noose long forgotten. But wait, Twist's shadow, a final text, from an unknown number. You think it's over? We made you. Jake. Out on bail. Plotting from shadows. No matter. I'd risen once. I'd do it again. The fallout from the wedding was a media circus. Tabloids feasting on the Hayes family implosion like vultures on roadkill. Windy City wedding goes to hell. Fraud. Affairs. And family feud, screamed the Sun-Times headline. My blurred face in the background. Anonymous but unmistakable. I clipped it. Pinned to my corkboard under the reckoning folder. A trophy wall for the war I'd won. Or so I thought. Chicago's autumn bit hard. Leaves crunching underfoot like brittle bones as I navigated the loop for my morning coffee run. The barista at Intelligentsia knew me now. Triple shot. Extra foam, she'd ask. And I'd nod. The caffeine a jolt to keep the ghosts at bay. Jake's text lingered in my deleted folder. A digital specter. We made you. What the hell did that mean? In my first life, he'd been the charming opportunist, not the mastermind. Had I missed something? Undergirding the betrayal. A deeper rot? Work was my anchor. Helen promoted me to senior auditor. Her corner office, now half mine in a shared setup. You saw it coming, she'd said, toasting with lukewarm Starbucks. Guts like that? Rare.
Guts.
Or ghosts. I dove into cases, unearthing frauds small and seismic. Each victory a brick in my new fortress. But nights were harder. The apartment, upgraded to a 2-bed in River North. Views of the river snaking silver, echoed with what-ifs. I'd adopted the twins 6 weeks post-chaos. Mia and Zoe. 4-year-olds with chocolate curls and eyes like saucers. Foster system roulette had dealt them a raw hand. I vowed mine would be velvet. Bedtime stories became ritual, the giving tree. Their tiny hands tracing pages. Giggles bubbling as the tree gave all. Irony stung. I'd been that tree once.
Stripped bara. Now.
I branched anew. But Jake's shadow crept. A week after the wedding bust, my doorman slipped me a manila envelope, no return address. Inside, Polaroids.
Me.
In my old cubicle, rifling files. Time-stamped from months ago.
How?
I'd been careful. Shadows only. A note. Typed, play with fire.
Get burned.
Step back. Or the kids see mommy in stripes. Rage boiled. Hot and holy. He was out on bail. Lila too, house arrest for her. Ankle monitor chafing her designer yoga pants. Mom and Dad? Full pretrial lockdown. Federal holding in downstate Illinois. But Jake, slippery as Lake Michigan fog, had resources. Senator Hayes' connections. Perhaps pulling strings even as his own indictment loomed. I didn't panic. Panic was for the old Isla. Instead, I called the PI. Voice steel. Track him. Every move. Already on it, he grunted. Guys holed up in a motel off I-90. Wrigleyville Dive. Meeting lowlifes, shady types from your dad's old crew. Dad's crew. The construction goons. Meaty fists and union ties. Who'd intimidated witnesses in my first trial. We made you. Clicked then. They'd groomed me as the fall guy from the start. Jake the conduit. Whispering doubts into my ear while betting my sister. No more whispers. I countered with noise. Anonymous post to a whistleblower forum, Sterling insider leaks, Hayes family ties to mobbed-up contracts. Sourced.
Vague.
Viral by morning. Jake's bail hearing? Revoked that afternoon. Judge cited flight risk and witness tampering.
Cuffed again.
Dragged from court in a perp walk that trended on X. Satisfaction was a warm gun, but fleeting. The twins sensed the tension. Mia's thumb-sucking ramping up. Mommy's sad, she'd ask, pudgy arms around my neck. Nope.
Mummy's blooting. Eat.
Tickling till squeals filled the air. Therapy helped, Dr. Ramirez. A no-nonsense Latina with a South Side drawl. Unpacking the rebirth without me spilling the supernatural beans. Trauma loops, she called it. Break the cycle. I tried. Date nights with a sterling paralegal. Marcus, tall. Dreads to his waist. Laugh like summer thunder. Dinner at Girl and the Goat. Small plates and shared stories. You're intense, he'd say. Eyes sparkling. I like it. Intense. Understatement. But his touch grounded me. A reminder life pulsed beyond vendettas. November's chill ushered Thanksgiving. A minefield holiday. I hosted turkey brined in bourbon. Sides from Jewel-Osco elevated with herbs. Guests, Helen and her wife. Marcus. The twins in pilgrim hats from dollar store crafts. No family. The Hayes were ghosts now. Letters from lockup piling in a box for someday. Mia set the table. Zoe mashed potatoes with glee. Toasts rang to resilience, to chosen kin. As pie steamed, my phone buzzed, a collect call from Cook County.
Mom.
I stepped onto the balcony, wind whipping my sweater. What? Isla. Her voice cracked, stripped of polish. I need to see you. Explain. Explain? Laughter barked out. Like how you texted me to stay away from the wedding. How you framed me for dad's sins. Silence. Then, it wasn't like that. Jake, he pushed. Said you'd never suspect the devoted girlfriend. And Lila. She was pregnant. Needed stability. Pregnant. Twist upon twist. In my first life, Lila's miscarriage post-trial, convenient cover for her Coke spiral. Jake's spawn. Stability built on my grave, I spat. Rot there.
Click.
But her words wormed in. Had I been collateral? Or the target all along? December snow blanketed the city, transforming it into a postcard lie. Sterling's holiday party glittered at the Palmer house, chandeliers dripping like frozen tears. I arrived in emerald velvet, Marcus's hand warm on my back. Jake's absence loomed, transferred to Supermax pending trial. But Lila crashed it, uninvited, gaunt in a red sheath, monitor peeking at her ankle. Isla, she tottered over, champagne flute trembling. We need to talk. For the baby. Baby. The word hung. A grenade. Guests averted eyes. Whispers buzzing. Out, I said, voice low. Marcus tensed beside me. She clutched my arm, nails digging. It's Jake's.
But he's yours in this mess.
Help me, us. Pity flickered, then died. You chose him. Live with it. Security escorted her out, her sobs echoing. Later, Marcus pulled me close on the dance floor. You okay? Better than ever.
Lie.
Half true. The game's endgame approached, but loose ends frayed. Christmas Eve. The twins in footy jammers. Cookies cooling on racks. A knock. Unexpected. Envelope again. This one with a USB. Watch alone. I did. Laptop in the dim living room. Fire crackling on the screen. Footage, grainy. From a hidden cam.
Me.
In my old apartment, arguing with Jake. If they find out about the books. Cut to him shoving me, my head cracking on the coffee table. Then, blackness. My accident, the fall I'd dismissed as clumsiness, the concussion that muddled my audits, letting the fraud slide. We made you. The beating, the setup, the slow poison of doubt. Not just betrayal, assault, psychological warfare. Rage-crusted. Tsunami. I forwarded to the DA, anonymous, with affidavits from my future memory. Charges amended. Aggravated battery. Conspiracy to commit murder. New Year's dawned with resolutions unspoken. Lila's plea deal, house arrest extended. Baby due in spring, Jake's. But I'd ensure child services looped in. No haze taint. Mom's trial, she testified, crumbling on stand. I did it for the family. Jury didn't buy. 10 years. Minimum. Dad flipped. State's witness. Shaving his sentence to 5. Senator Hayes? Resigned in disgrace. His perfect union to Lila dissolved before vows. Me? Cleared. Compensated. Sterling settlement fat. Enough for private schools and a cabin upstate. Spring bloomed. Twins toddling in daffodils. Marcus proposed on a pier. Rings simple silver. Build with me? Yes. This time. Truth. But the final twist, a letter from Jake. Supermax stationery. You won. But know this. The beating? Mom's idea. She wanted you weak. Pliable. Blood's blood. I burned it. Ashes scattering on the wind. Reborn. I'd severed the ties. No more ghosts. Or so I thought. One last buzz. Unknown number. Aunt Isla, it's the baby. When can I meet you? Lila's child, my niece. Or pawn. I'd decide. On my terms. The cycle broke. But echoes lingered. In America, Revenge was a full-time job. But freedom? Priceless. Summer 2021 sweltered. Humidity clinging like regret as I pushed the double stroller through Millennium Park. The twins chatter a bomb against the city's grind. Mia pointed at the bean, its mirrored curve warping our reflections into funhouse distortions. Mommy funny, Zoe echoed. Sticky with ice cream. Marcus trailed, camera in hand, capturing the ordinary magic I'd fought to reclaim. Life post-reckoning was a tightrope, sterling promotions stacking like Jenga blocks. My name whispered in boardrooms as the fixer. Media faded. I'd lawyered up. NDAs sealing lips, but scars itched. Jake's letter haunted. Mom's complicity, a venom slower than the noose. The baby's text, Lila's olive branch. Or trap. I'd ignored it, focusing on roots, playdates in Lincoln Park, story hours at the library, Marcus's weekend barbecues where he'd grill brats and my doubts with equal care. But autumn winds carried omens. A call from the DA. Hayes trial wrapping. Your testimony sealed it. Conspiracy to defraud and assault. Jake's getting 25. No parole. Satisfaction soured quick. And the baby? Custody hearing next month. Lila's pushing for release. House arrest ending soon. I hung up, stomach nodding. The niece, Harper. Named in court docs. Innocent shrapnel in their war. Decision time. I visited Lila's halfway house in Evanston. Chain-link fences and buzzer doors a far cry from the Drake. She waited in a sterile visiting room. Belly swollen under a muumuu. Face gaunt. Eyes hollow. Isla. She stood, awkward. You came. For her. I nodded at the bump. Not you. We sat. Plastic chairs creaking. Jake's rotting, she said. Voice small.
Mom's
broken. Says you're the devil.
Bought. Kettle.
I leaned forward. What do you want? Forgiveness? Hell.
No.
But Harper, don't let her pay. I studied her. The sister who'd stolen my man. My peace. Now, pleading like a penitent. Pity stirred. Unwelcome. Conditions.
Therapy.
Clean breaks. And you stay out of my life.
Deal.
Tears tracked mascara. First crack in her armor. Back home. Marcus waited with wine and questions. You sure?
No.
But blood's a chain or a choice. November's gray drizzled as Harper arrived. Red-faced squall in a hospital bassinet. I held her first, tiny fist curling around my finger. Auntie Isla, the nurse said. Lila watched from bed. Monitors beeping. Custody granted provisional, to me, with supervised visits for Lila. The judge cited family stability, my stability. Irony. I'd become the anchor they despised. Winter holidays tested resolve. Twins adored the baby. Zoe cooing nonsense syllables. Mia helping with bottles. Mom's appeal denied. She wrote again. Let me see the girls. And the new one.
Please.
Burned it. But doubt gnawed. Rebirth's gift was clarity, not cruelty. Maybe mercy was the ultimate revenge. Spring 2022. Harper thrived. Chubby cheeks and gummy grins. Lila relapsed. Coke test positive. Visits suspended. I adopted full. Papers stamped in family court. Judge's gavel a benediction. Work surged. Sterling tapped me for a task force. Rooting out corporate rot nationwide. Travel, New York. LA, Marcus holding fort with the kids. his patience a quiet strength. But Jake's appeal unearthed the twist. Hidden tapes. From his cell. East Law framed us. He ranted to a bunkmate. Inmate snitch. She's the real thief, reborn or some shit. The crazy bitch knew too much. Dismissed as delusion. But chills ran. Had my slip shown? A too-perfect prediction in court? Paranoia peaked one rainy June night. Driving home from O'Hare. Wipers slashing. A tail. Black SUV. Tinted windows. Heart hammered. Dad's old crew? I lost them in traffic. But sleep fled. PI confirmed. Hired muscle. Jake's last gasp from inside. Enough. I went public. Op-ed in the Tribune. Surviving family fraud. A daughter's reckoning. No names spared. My story raw. Empowering. Views exploded. Support flooded. Women demanding tales of betrayal. Men confessing enabler sins. Impact rippled. Sterling stock climbed on my transparency initiative. Book deal offers pinged. Reborn from ashes. Betrayal and breakthrough. Marcus proposed again. This time with twins' input. Ring engraved family found. Wedding small backyard. String lights. The twins in flower crowns. Harper gurgling in a bassinet. Vows exchanged under oaks. In sickness. Health. And second chances.
Honeymoon. Cabin in Door County.
Lake Michigan lapping. Kids with sitters. Nights tangled in sheets. Days hiking trails. You're my phoenix, Marcus whispered. Phoenix.
Fitting.
Fall brought harvest. Mom paroled early. Good behavior. She called. Voice frail. Can I meet Harper? Conditions. Supervised. At a park. Neutral ground. She arrived shrunken. Gray streaks in hair. Pearls pond. The kids played. Oblivious. Harper in my arms. Mom's eyes welled. She's beautiful. Like you were. Was I ever enough? The question slipped. Old wound gaping. She reached. Hesitant.
No.
I was scared. Of losing everything.
Truth.
Partial. I let her hold the baby. Minutes ticking. One chance.
Mom.
Earn it. She nodded. Tears falling. First thaw. But Jake's final play. Smuggled phone call. Leaked to press. Isla's unstable. Hallucinations. Revenge psychosis. Timed for my book launch. Backlash swift. Psych eval ordered. Custody review threatened. I fought.
DR.
Ramirez testifying. Resilient. Not unhinged. Cleared. But scarred. The op-ed sequel. Gaslighting from graves. Why we silence survivors. Winter 2023. Book hit shelves. Bestseller whisper. Tours Seattle. Austin. Fans hugging. Story shared. You gave me voice. Home. Family swelled. Harper's first steps. Twins kindergarten plunge. Lila in rehab. Letters contrite. Learning. For her. Forgiveness? Not yet.
But space.
Spring twist. Dad's release. Cancer diagnosis. Hospice call. See you?
Kid.
I went. Hospital sterile. His frame wasted. Sorry, he rasped. For the noose. Metaphors died hard. Why me? Easy target. Loving fool. I left.
No absolution.
He passed weeks later. Estate pennies mine by default. Donated to fraud victim funds. Summer solstice. Beach day at Indiana Dunes. Sandcastles crumbling like empires. Marcus barbecued.
Kids splashed.
Phone silent. Reborn. I'd built not just revenge, but restoration. Betrayal's echo faded, drowned by laughter. Yet, one shadow, anonymous package, baby shoes.
Note, she's ours.
Lila? Or deeper, I'd watch. Always. By 2024, the Hayes saga was folklore, podcast fodder. True crime docs pitching Netflix deals. I demurred. My story was mine.
Not spectacle.
Sterling crowned me VP. Corner office with river views. Team of sharp auditors I'd mentored from the ashes of my own trial. Family anchored. Marcus's tech startup boomed. Flexible hours for school runs. Twins in soccer. Braids flying. Harper toddling. Words bubbling. Auntie no. Mommy yes. Lila's rehab stuck. 6 months clean. Part-time barista. Visits graduated to overnights. Tentative bridge.
Mom?
Weekly coffee at a Loop Cafe. Neutral as Switzerland. She'd aged a decade in 5 years. Stories of lockup lectures met with nods. Not judgment. I was the villain, she'd say. Stirring sugarless black. But villains reform? Sometimes. I'd softened. Rebirth's edge blunted by time. The kids bridged us, Mia drawing gamma cards, Zoe quizzing her on knock-knocks. But Jake's specter lingered. Supermax walls no barrier to malice. His appeal dragged. Appeals court citing new evidence, fabricated psych reports. My delusions of foresight. Tabloids revived. Vengeful widow or witch hunt. Widow? He wasn't dead. But the label stuck. Venomous. Marcus shielded. Fielding calls. She's focused on family.
Truth.
Vacations to Yellowstone. Geysers erupting like purged rage. Book 2 drafted. Chains broken. Healing after betrayal. Fall equinox brought the storm. Package 2. Diaper bag. Monogrammed HH. Harper Hayes. Inside. USB again. Footage this time, Lila. Post-rehab. Meeting a hooded figure in a park. Words muffled. Jake says take the kid. Leverage.
Heart iced.
Betrayal's Hydra. Heads regrowing. Lila.
Clean.
Facade. I confronted her at pickup. Coffee shop neutral. Explain. Her face crumpled. No denial. He called collect. Said if I got Harper. Pearl fast track. For us. Us. Disgust curled. You're clean for show? No for her. Tears. But eyes darted. He's out soon. Reduced sentence. Twist gutted. Jake's deal. Snitching on senator remnants. Release in months. I revoked visits. Court petition swift. Judge sympathetic. Protective order granted. Lila fought. Pro bono lawyer from her influencer ghosts. Hearing loomed. Holidays tainted. Thanksgiving. Table set. But empty chairs loomed. Mom arrived early. Pie in hand. Lila called. Hysterical. Her mess. But doubt crept. Harper's future. Collateral again? Marcus squeezed my hand under turkey carcass. We're enough. We were. Lights twinkled. Twins charades devolved to tickle fights. Harper clapped. Oblivious. December's chill deepened the blade. Jake's release date, January 15th, 2025. Media staked my building. Wolves scenting blood. PI tailed him. Low-rent apartment in Pilsen. Job at a warehouse, manual labor. Poetic. But meetings with Lila.
Clandestine.
Christmas Eve. Snow globe perfect. Stockings stuffed. Carols crooning. A knock, Jake.
Gaunt.
Unshaven. Poinsettia wilting in hand. Merry Christmas. Isla. Voice rough. Eyes hollowed. Security shouldered, but I waved them off.
Out.
Just talk. For Harper. She's mine. Wind howled. He stepped closer, breath fogging. I loved you. Once. Before the mess. Lies. But pause, his hand trembled. Mom pushed. The beating. The frame. Said you were weak link. Echoed his letter. And you. Followed. Shame flickered. But the kid, let me see her.
No.
Door shut. Bolt thrown. But sleep evaded. His face overlaying the new stream. New Year's. Fireworks burst over the lake. Resolutions whispered. Mine, end it clean. January. Lila's hearing. She testified. Voice quavering. I relapsed for him. But Isla's stable. Harper's home. Judge ruled. Monitored contact. No Jake. Relief flooded. But Lila's glare promised war. February's thaw mirrored mine. Jake petition visitation denied. Restraining order extended. He cornered me at a red light. Rain sheeting. Fight fair. I locked doors. 911 queued. Cops hauled him. Violation charge. Spring 2025. Book launch 2. Standing room at Seminary Co-op. Fans queued. Story shared. Lila showed. Uninvited. Sober 6 months renewed. Proud, she mouthed from back. Post-signing. We talked, real.
Raw.
I was jealous, she admitted. Your strength. Stole to feel big. Forgive? I asked. Not yet. But try. Mom joined therapy, family sessions.
DR.
Ramirez mediating. Walls cracked. Truth spilled. Dad's abuse. Mom's enabling cycle.
Blood.
Diluted but binding. Summer solstice circled back. Dunes again. Kids built empires in sand. Marcus and I toes in surf. Harper splashed. Calling Mama. A text from Jake. I'm done. Leaving Chicago.
Sorry.
Blocked. Deleted. Freedom's whisper. By December 2025, 5 years post-rebirth, the Noose was relic. Museum piece in my mind. Sterling Global. Me jetting to conferences. Keynotes on ethics. Family, Lila Andy weekends. Mom grandma brunches. Marcus's ring. Twins teens looming. Harper's first words expanding. Twist resolved. Jake's sorry genuine. Rehab voluntary. Out west. No echoes. Reborn. I'd exacted revenge, not in blood, but balance. Betrayal's sting faded to scar. Strength's tattoo. In America's grind, hustle, heartbreak, horizons, I stood unbroken. The hook's echo? 3 sentences still. Noose tight. Mom's smirk. Resets gasp.
But now.
Ending I lived, loved, thrived.
And that?
Ultimate victory.